Ash, it finally happened. We have a direct announcement, and as has been retconned, I guess, it's like, oh, it's not going to be direct. It's going to be a partner showcase. Yes, that is the truth. It is a partner showcase happening on Wednesday, the 21st at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. So are you ready to wake up early?
They always do this, man. They always screw us Pacific timers over with the timing of these directs. But you know what? A direct is the best reason ever to get up early. Even a partner showcase. I think, it's not a general direct, and I realize that's a little bit disappointing to some, but I think it's easy to forget just how good the previous partner showcase was. There's some interesting stuff in there. So I wouldn't write this off necessarily. Even if it isn't a general, I wouldn't write it off.
I mean, it's still third-party support, and you can get some good stuff out of third-party support. And, it's 25 minutes of info. Not huge, but also pretty, meaty enough. I think it's a nice setup, especially because it's all coming in the first half of 2024. So this is, if I have to assume, it's just the lead up to the summer, which is likely where, Thousand Year Door is coming out. So this is sort of stuff to hold you over until that releases. And, as is tradition for anybody on the internet that has a YouTube channel and talks about Nintendo, we got to make some predictions. It's required by law. We will be arrested if we do not do this.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. And of course, elephant in the room here is that Pioro, the Twitter account that often makes predictions and often makes them kind of accurate, has some predictions out there. So we'll probably be talking about those and what they could mean, and one way or another they might be a thing or not. But Ash, let's start with you. What is your first prediction that we'll see at this partner showcase?
Well, one of the first things that came to my mind is something that I know would make you, both of us, but especially you, really happy if it did happen, and that is a Castlevania DS collection. I remember that both the original and the advanced collections kind of came out of nowhere, and I could see, the DS collection kind of doing the same, and it seems almost criminal not to collect those three games in another collection, because they are some of the best Castlevania games in the entire series. All three of them, especially. Well, no, I mean not especially. All three of them are excellent.
All three of them are really good. My favorite is Order of Ecclesia, but I mean that doesn't take away anything from the other two in there. Castlevania DS, I mean, one of the best. Obviously, requires a bit more work because they were on DS, but as Mega Man ZX collection has shown that it's possible to work around that. And who knows, maybe the same people who worked on the Mega Man ZX collection helped out with Castlevania to make that work. Although there really isn't a lot of, especially after the first game, not a lot of like touch controls with that. It's mainly just an extra map, which you can easily move that aside and make that look good. I've been wanting this for a while. I would love to finally get that confirmation of a DS collection, because more people need to realize how good this is. And I wonder what kind of extra they'll throw in, because the advanced collection, they tossed in Dracula X. And I wonder what they would do for this one as far as an extra little bit of Castlevania love. And I'm not sure.
Maybe like the N64 games or something. That would be
wouldn't that be something if they actually included the Castlevania 64.
Legacy of Darkness, and then there's the other one. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
It was just Castlevania 64 and Legacy of Darkness. But Legacy of Darkness, you could really just include Legacy of Darkness, because it includes all the content from Castlevania 64, just made a little bit better.
Oh, does it? I never played them. Okay, that's cool to know. Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope that happens. It just seems like it should, right?
It has to happen eventually. It just makes sense. So yeah, do it. Well, it's funny. Yeah. You thought of me, and I thought of you. Because I think it's about time that we have a Mega Man collection. Whether or not it'll be Star Force or Legends, I'm going to lean a bit more towards Legends. And I think it's going to happen. I think especially with how well Battle Network did, it makes sense to me to have Legends next, because I think it also has that same kind of cult following now that Battle Network did. And I think because it has had so much word of mouth over the years, this has the potential to really garner a lot of new fans and get sales equal to that, especially because they are quite different. I would actually recommend Legends to a new Mega Man player more than some of the classic games, because they're much more approachable.
I don't know if I think it's time yet for another collection, just because we just got Battle Network Collection less than a year ago, and we actually got the announcement of Battle Network Legacy Collection in one of last year's partner showcases. So this would be the place for it. It might be a little soon, but I'd love for you to be right. And if it is a collection, or if there is going to be a Mega Man collection, I agree. It's much likelier to be Legend than Star Force. I just don't think there's much of a market for a Star Force collection, unfortunately. And that series did take a little while to get off the ground. One and two are good games, but three it really took until three for the series to get great. And Legends, I agree. I think that's a great starting point for a new Mega Man fan. There's so much word of mouth around those games. They're so special. They're generally locked back on the PS1 still. There are other ways to play them, of course, but generally it's kind of hard. There's the PSP versions, but Vita. But yeah, it's time to bring Legends to modern platforms. The only thing is, though, then that kind of restarts the headache of a conversation around Legends 3. And does Capcom really want that? I don't know.
I don't.
You know?
I mean, I think people would just be happy to have it. I mean, yeah, they might clamor for a Legends 3, but I think it's still worth doing. And honestly, they can also they could also just throw us a swerve ball and like here's like a potluck collection of just like, okay, here's all the Mega Man Game Boy games and there's extreme games
so
and
bad.
why not? Here's Mega Man Soccer and Mega Man Battle and Chase. Just here's all the weird Mega Man games and the handheld ones. Enjoy. They could do that.
That would be so nice because the Game Boy games really deserve to be able to be played on modern platforms. The first two are but the three, four, and five are like some of the best Mega Man classic games out there. So I would love that, just like a Mega Man miscellaneous collection. I don't think they'd do a collection of just those games, but yeah, if you throw them into a Legends collection, maybe, or some of them, yeah, it's possible.
Could happen.
It is possible.
Yeah. Would certainly round out the package. Not that, Legends is a short game by any means, but either way, I mean, would love to see either of these collections. But what else are you hoping to see or thinking we'll see for the Direct?
Well, there was that NVIDIA leak, like probably a couple of years ago now, and we've seen some of it come true. Things like the Chrono Cross remaster, stuff like that. Apparently that FF9 remake is real, even though we haven't seen anything come from it yet. But another thing that we kept hearing about from that leak is a potential remaster of Final Fantasy Tactics. And like this seems like the perfect time to drop something like that on Switch, like the War of the Lions version with some optimizations done because the PSP version had a lot of slowdown in it. But get rid of that slowdown, use that excellent localization, drop it on Switch late in its life cycle. That seems like a slam dunk for me. And Square support of the Switch has been excellent. So this is the time, especially for people maybe who played Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, heard some of that Tactics music. You're like, I want to play this game. There you go.
Well, not only that, but you had people. You had like the success with Triangle Strategy. They put out Tactics Ogre Reborn. Why not put out a third one that sort of matches that same style and get Tactics, which is the one, I think a lot of people would really love to see.
Definitely, I mean that's Tactics is a beloved game for a reason. I certainly adore it, and to be able to have it on the go with the Switch would be, and just to be able to play it on modern platforms, period, would be wonderful.
For sure. Well, speaking of Square Enix, I got a sort of a twofold one here. I think it is about time for us to finally see something out of Dragon Quest III HD 2D.
Where is it?
Where is it? It is literally the year of the dragon. It has to be coming. It has to be this year.
Would that be in a general direct though? Do you think that's too big for a partner showcase?
No, I don't think so, because it's big, but it's Dragon Quest, so it's not huge in the West, But I guess because it'll be in Japan as well, because it's big there. But I still think it's a possibility, It seems like it's been so long since we've gotten any information. 3HD 2D has to be coming.
It has to be. I mean, unless it's just stuck in development hell for some reason. But their HD 2D pipeline has been so swift of late with, just given everything they've done between Octopath Traveler 2, the first game, and then of course Live Alive. Like they've really, that pipeline seems to be pretty strong. So I don't know what's taken them so long. Not to of course game development is hard. I'm not saying it's not, but they seem like that pipeline has been so consistent. So it does seem like it's past time for that finally to show itself again.
It'd be really nice. And you know what else would be nice, just to piggyback off of this? If we don't see Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, you know what I really like, and this feels even more like a thing that's not going to happen. Let's get Dragon Quest 4 through 6 on the Switch finally.
That would be nice. I'd finally get to play them. I never have.
Yeah. I mean,
I've heard, yeah.
granted, it could even be better, be 4 through 8, because there's wonderful ports of all those on the DS/3DS. Put those all on the Switch. But I'm not going to be too greedy and go with 4 through 6 for now.
I feel like 4 through 6 would be likelier because they've shown that they're willing to sell 7 and 8 by themselves,
True.
on 3DS and such. So I feel like it would be likelier to see 4, 5, and 6. But I've heard those are 3 of the best Dragon Quest games, so that would be really cool.
And the other thing is that Dragon Quest Monsters released at the end of last year. That's heavily based on Dragon Quest 4, and it has never, that sold pretty well. It sold over 1 million copies worldwide. Why not get the original game on Switch and other consoles and be like, hey, here's what you're missing, or here's the other half of the story for Dragon Quest Monsters. So
right.
There seems to be cohesion here, but who knows if they'll actually take advantage of it.
Who knows? Who knows? This one wasn't something that came to my mind earlier, but just as we were talking, because we were talking about so many RPGs, this one came to mind. And what if Bandai Namco surprised us with a Xenosaga collection? That would be wild, huh?
I would love, that would be awesome. I've also thought about, because there's all the rumors about the Switch 2 coming out, and it's like, okay,
right.
We have, all this, everybody's probably preparing for the Switch 2 games. Monolith Soft is probably preparing for the Switch 2. Wouldn't it be nice, though, if they had a small team decide to work with Square to make a remaster in the same way as Star Ocean of Xenogears?
Oh, dude, if we got a Xenogears remaster in that Star Ocean 2 style, another in that HD2D pipeline, I would lose my mind. That would be insane.
Especially if they had the time to, fill out the second half of that game. But even if it's just Xenosaga, I'd be interested to see if they try to unify the art style of those 3 games, or if they just leave them the same. Because there's a lot of differences between Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, particularly 2 in the rest of the series. 1 is a little bit closer to 3, but yeah, it feels like they would have to. Well, they wouldn't have to. They tried to do it with Xenosaga 1 and 2 on the DS. They tried to unify the art styles a little bit, but my guess is they would probably just release them in their original forms. Probably. If they did a collection of all 3 games, yeah.
It's very odd that Bandai Namco did Batten Kaitos, which you did not hear much about. I know there's fans, but you just did not hear a lot about it. So
yeah,
why not capitalize on the Xeno name?
Exactly. Why not? Especially right now when it's bigger than ever.
Oh, absolutely. This one actually, I did not even think about this, but this actually came from John, and I think he's onto something with this one, because I've heard really good things. 2, I think it would probably it'd be the best place to get a lot of attention. So, Goodfeel, who've made Yoshi's Woolly World, Yoshi's Crafter World, the Wario games, they've actually released a brand new game in Japan that a lot of people who've played it has said it basically feels like a Mystical Ninja Goemon successor.
Steve played this and really liked it.
Yes, everybody that's tried it out, has imported and tried it, checked it out, has really enjoyed it. And it has a very Japanese style to it, because I think your weapons are like taiko drums, and the enemies are all based on Japanese festival goers with the weird masks and stuff. It's called Otogi Katsugeki Mamede no Mameda no Bakaru Oracle Saitaru no Seinen. I don't know what that translates to, but
bring that over as the name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have no idea what you'd localize that as, but I could actually see that getting localized and being shown off as part of this Partner Direct.
You never. Yeah, I
think John's onto something.
I mean, especially if it's something that has some potentially global appeal. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I think John might be onto something there. And another one from our good buddy John that I think he's probably onto something with is Pac-Man World 2 Repack. As far as I understand, the original Pac-Man World Repack did pretty well and was very well received. I didn't get to play it, but it looked like it was great. And why not? We've seen Bandai Namco remaster both of the first 2 Katamari games. Why not both? And they remastered both Klonoa 1 and 2. Why not Pac-Man World 1 and 2? It seems like a nice little bit of symmetry there.
No, absolutely. I mean, I could see that. I mean, I know a lot of people really enjoy the Pac-Man World game. So why not do the second one if the first one sold really well?
Yeah.
That'd be really cool to see. I'm going to go over to the Pioro stuff now, just
Okay.
because I'm. It's a curious one because they've made a lot of allusions, and I've not looked at it too closely, but I also have seen like a lot of people like making like, oh, I think he means this. So, for example, he tweeted out, or they tweeted out, sometimes Nintendo can be a partner because they love dolphins. And a lot of people have taken that to mean something related to Endless Oceans, Endless Ocean.
Right.
Whether it's a remake or Endless Ocean 3. And John has pointed out to us that Arica, the ones who developed the game, also were the ones who developed every single 99 game. Tetris 99, Super Mario 35,
Right.
Pac-Man 99. But they did not work on F-Zero. So that's left them some time to work on something, and it could be this Endless Ocean.
It could be. It could be either a remaster or it could be a sequel. It could be Endless Ocean 3, right? I mean,
I
it
feel
doesn't
like-
necessarily have to be a remaster.
Honestly, I feel like a third one makes the most sense to me. Why wouldn't you just make a new one at this point? Because I don't know, like, if you remaster the first one, right?
Right.
Especially because I
And
think the
apparently-
sequel is probably better where it has a bit more of a story to go with rather than just
Right.
vibes.
And apparently, a Chinese leaker has said, I don't know the veracity of this particular Chinese leaker, but they said that Pioro's dolphin tweet is for Endless Ocean. So, assuming they are correct and have a good track record, that does seem to be what we're looking at here.
Which cool.
So
Wouldn't have
we'll
expected
see.
that for
Yeah.
sure. Otherwise, that's for sure.
Same, but that also means that we're living in a timeline where Endless Ocean came to Switch before Rhythm Heaven did, which just makes me hurt, man.
Yeah.
But speaking of Pioro, though, they also mentioned Game Freak specifically, and obviously it's easy to go to Pokemon from that, but actually we were thinking more along the lines of Pocket Card Jockey, right?
Yeah, because that was recently released on mobile, so why wouldn't you
Yeah.
bring it to the Switch? And Pocket Card Jockey is really, really fun. So
Right.
it's honestly one of Game Freak's best games. It's weird in that way because it's just solitaire and jockeying, but it works. So yes, absolutely bring this to Switch if it's actually going to be the case. And speaking of Apple Arcade, I wonder if we'll finally see Fantasian.
Oh, that would be so nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Could we see Fantasian?
so cool.
Could we see the Sonic Dream Team? Maybe finally get a
Since
sport.
Sonic Dream Team, that would be pretty cool. I'd love to play that on the big screen. I know there are ways to do it, but
Right.
I'd rather just play it natively. I Fantasian or Sonic Dream Team would be really cool. Of course, we would be remiss if we didn't mention all of the Xbox stuff that happened last week,
yeah.
and all the rumors swirling around about the four Xbox games coming to Switch, which have been, I believe, rumored to be.
Well, I don't think they're all coming to this.
Rush.
Yeah, I don't think they're all coming
Not
to the
the
Switch.
same,
Just they're coming
yeah.
to multiple consoles. I think the
So
most.
multiple platforms.
Yeah.
That's right.
But-
But I think the one we are expecting to see, or at least I think we might be seeing here, is Pentiment.
Yeah, which
That's the one I'm thinking. I'd love it for it to be Hi-Fi Rush, but I don't
I've
think
heard
so.
good things about Pentiment. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush would be definitely the more exciting one. But I feel like it's probably going to be Pentiment.
I just feel like maybe Hi-Fi Rush might be more sense for Switch 2, just because that game is so striking looking, and I just don't know that they can get it running at 60 FPS at a way that, at a level that they would want it
even
to be
think
seen
about
at,
that.
because it's, it's a rhythm action game, so you really need it to be 60 FPS. I would not want to play that game at 30, and so I imagine maybe they want a little bit more horsepower, right? I don't know. I'm just speculating, but Pentiment seems likelier to me, and then the others were Grounded and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, and
for
multiple
multiple
I don't see
platforms.
either of those coming to Switch. Honestly.
Yeah, Pentiment seems the likeliest to me.
Yeah. The other thing to mention here is that we'll likely see a few release dates for some stuff that we've known about for a while.
Right.
I feel like Fantasy Life has a good shot. The new
Yeah.
Fantasy Life has a good shot of getting a release date, probably sometime over the summer, maybe May. I will probably
makes
see
sense.
something like that. But also, I think we'll actually hear from Konami and actually get a Suikoden release date, because it's been a while since we've
right,
heard
I forgot
about
those
that.
remasters are coming.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
remasters are coming. Where is that at? And not related whatsoever, but be sure it would be nice to get a Plucky Squire release date.
Oh, Plucky Squire. I feel like that almost has to be there. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but like that's such a high profile indie that, for this year that people are really wanting to hear more about. We still don't have a date. I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah, I think it has a shot.
And I guess just to throw something completely random out there, not that I like realistically expect this, but we have Indie Zero, who not only made the Theater Rhythm games, but they also made NES Remix and NES Remix 2. So what if Nintendo decided to go back to that well and just be like, hey, SNES Remix, Shadow Drop, there you go. Y'all thought about, y'all kept talking about how, why didn't we do an SNES Remix? Well, there it is. There, from Indie Zero. So not that I actually expect it, but I wanted to throw something wacky out there.
Yeah, honestly, I'd like to see Indie Zero to do a rhythm game for one of Nintendo's franchises. I think that'd be way more hype for me.
Theater Rhythm Nintendo All Stars. That's the dream game right there, man.
Just pick a
That
franchise and you just have an
crazy.
amazing set of rhythm games to play. Like, oh my god.
Something else that would be kind of a fantasy dream come true. Get Team Ninja to work on Xenoblade Warriors.
No, not. Ooh,
Imagine
a Warriors game. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Do you think we'll see a Warriors game here? Possibly.
I mean, I'd have to, I can't imagine it would be another Zelda Warriors game, not another Hyrule Warriors. So, what else would it be though? Like,
Well,
it
that's the
could be
thing.
Mario Warriors. As funny as that would be.
I mean, the thing is, I have a note here because I wasn't sure what it could be, but I did put out the idea in my head anyway of a partner working with Nintendo. So it's a Nintendo franchise, but it's a partner developing it in the same way as like Cadence of Hyrule
Right.
or a Warriors game. So,
I mean, it would seem like the last remaining best fit after Zelda and Fire Emblem for a Warriors game would be Xenoblade. I mean, I can't
there's
really
so many characters to choose from in that game
exactly.
with those games at this point. So it'd be cool.
That would be so
I
cool.
kind of doubt it, but it'd be cool.
Yeah. No, I don't really see it happening, but imagine if it did, and I could be here to say, yeah, I was there when I predicted it, and it actually happened. That would be so cool and out of nowhere.
Speaking of, I was there when I predicted it. Do you pull the trigger on this one? Because it's not an indie direct, it's a partner direct, but it's also a huge
Right.
game. Do we pull the trigger and say Silksong?
It just, I mean, at one point it has to be right, right? We'll keep predicting it, and then one of the times it'll actually be right, and it'll actually get a date. And
Now,
it'll
the one time we
resurface.
don't predict it is when it actually happens.
I know. I feel like Silk Song would be. I don't think they put it in a partner showcase, right? I feel like it's become such a big, momentous thing now.
You think it
the
would be in a
big,
main showcase, not
like
even a
a
partner?
main direct? I feel like, right?
I don't.
That just seems like it's too
I don't know.
big.
Is a
but I mean,
partner
but again,
showcase
I don't
is
know.
a partner showcase lesser than a regular showcase, the regular direct? I don't think so.
It's not actually, but I think that's the perception by a lot of the public. I think that's
I mean, I don't care about the
how
perception
people,
of the public. I'm
well,
thinking of
yeah,
what
I
Nintendo
feel like
thinks.
Nintendo might.
I
Just
don't think
when
Nintendo
you
would. No,
yeah, okay. I
that's
don't
good
know if
buzz.
no.
I
Yeah,
don't.
that's
I'm not
true.
saying, but I think I definitely
Yeah,
don't think it would show up in an indie direct. It will definitely show up in the partner showcase or the actual
either a
direct,
partner showcase or
or
a general
somebody,
direct.
or
Yeah.
with some other company. But yeah,
Well, I don't want to be the one saying no and then be wrong about something like Silk Song. So let's just say sure. Why not?
why not?
Why
Yeah,
not? Yeah.
sure. Well, the only thing I have left of like things I could see, because the problem is here we've been doing obviously a lot of re-releases, collections,
I know.
ports. It's hard to think of new original things, and this is yet another collection. I'm just saying, we have that new Layton game coming. Boy, sure would be nice to be able to replay those old Layton games. Be nice to have a 1 through 3 collection, or more.
That's true.
So
I could see them actually doing that. That would make a lot of sense to get people caught up on the story going into Late in 7.
especially since there's so much time until it actually releases. So
Right.
why not take that opportunity to catch people up and show off the old games?
That's true. And I guess on that note, or on a related note, it's probably a little bit soon because obviously the Apollo Justice trilogy just came out. But Ace Attorney is on fire right now, and I have to imagine that since the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles did as well as it did, there might be interest at Capcom in porting over the Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations duology. Not this soon, but
I was going to say,
in a
you're saying Mega Man's too soon. This is way too soon.
I'll think, but keep that in mind for like the next one, maybe the next partner showcase down the road. Just keep that in the back of your mind, you know?
Yeah.
This is a possibility. Yeah, it's hard to predict things that we don't know exist, right? And a lot of what we said are ports and collections. So I mean, hopefully that's why I threw out SNES remixes, just kind of like a grab bag. Sure, maybe, why not? Who knows? But yeah, beyond that, it's really hard to predict things that we don't know yet exist.
Yeah, it's like what kind of weird things could they do or could show, or what makes sense to pop on the Switch at this point in its lifespan? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's where it gets tricky.
I even just keep coming up with things, but they're ports. I was like, oh, maybe we'll get like a Samus Returns port, or like Kid Icarus Uprising, which would be amazing, but I don't expect it. But those are all ports, so it's like, oh, that's hard. Yeah, and of course, I'm kind of coming up blank for new things.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? Pikmin pinball. Why?
Okay.
I got nothing.
Sure.
I'm just saying, use Pikmin pickball. Pinball, pickball. I don't know, just something random to toss out there. But again, that's not third party, so I have no idea.
It could be made by a third party partner. It could be outsourced. You never know.
I guess.
Anything we come up with could potentially, yeah. Maybe they could do another Cadence and Hyrule type thing, like another indie crossover.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for it. I would.
Oh, could we maybe get a date for Mina the Hollower finally?
Oh, you know what? Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm not sure what their planned release window was, but potentially.
Well, they said 2024 in general, so that's all we know. And of course, this is Yacht Club. They're going to take as long as they need, and it could be pushed into 2025. But this would be a perfect place to announce a date for that, I would say, if they're ready to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So possibly. That really the last thing I have, and yes, it's another port, but I want to mention it just in case it actually does happen. I've said this before. We all agree it makes no sense that Chrono Cross is on Switch, but Chrono Trigger still isn't. I feel like, I'm not saying we're getting an HD 2D remake, although that would be the dream. I'm just saying they're going to port the Steam version, try to sell it for $25, whatever. But Chrono Trigger has to come to Switch at some point, right? And just in case this is the time, I want to predict it, just in case, because I want to say I said it, even if it never actually happens. But it still makes no sense to me. It just makes Square so weird. They're so weird.
Hey, you're just preaching to the choir here, so hopefully we get something good. I have no idea, but I think we're pretty well tapped in our predictions, which, hey, nice.
Yeah.
Nice quick one. Again, I would love to see ideas on original games, like what could original games could be out there that we're not thinking of, that's not a collection or a re-release. Like,
Me too.
What could we really see? And that's where it gets tricky. Like, I could say a brand new Castlevania. Do I think it'll happen? No. So
right. I know Yacht Club have expressed serious interest in remaking Zelda 2, but like, would Nintendo let them? Probably not. But that would be pretty cool, like a Zelda 2 remake coming from Yacht Club. Like, hell yeah. Okay, let's go. But definitely let us know in the comments, like, if any ideas for original games that we're not thinking of that you might want to see or could potentially see happening.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to see that. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much tapped into our predictions for the upcoming Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. So thank you all so much for watching. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/gvgaming, and otherwise just hit that subscribe button. We are absolutely going to be reacting to this, waking up bright and early to see what kind of games get shown off. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, we'll see you around, and definitely keep an eye out for even more content from us. We got good things cooking. So yeah, hope to see you all around again. So until then, everyone, bye.